So this marks the beginning of the show, show 14. This one's going to be super awesome. I'm back and happy to join the crew here. They've been doing an amazing job while I'm away. In fact, most will argue a superior job. So thanks so much, Ollie, by the way, for taking care of the show while I was away.
My pleasure and my honor. Thank you, Trey.
Okay, and I'm going to come see you in 5 days, and I'll buy you a bottle of wine. Thank you for everything that you've done. So
I'll share my sister's wine with you.
That sounds nice and strange.
Hello.
So let's have some stepping stones here, Ollie. Okay. So what is the Creation Wars? Well, it's a show we do every week. It's a very fun and different photography competition. What we do is we get together what will you call it, like a flock of masters from the Arcanum, and then they battle it out. They bring in different works from their apprentices, and they throw them into the arena, and we all critique each other's works, and we kind of vote at the end to find out who the winner is. It's super fun. You always learn a lot. Lots of laughs, always good entertainment. So anyway, thanks for sticking around. It's kind of a new, improved formula where we keep the proper show like under an hour. And then we have an after show, like today's after show, we're going to do fun stuff, like you're going to see a picture of Stuart urinating on top of the tallest tower in London, for example. Just a small teaser. Ollie just got a new Inspired drone that he's been flying around like a loon, I'm sure. We'll get a report on that. But we'll save all that for the after show. So for people following on Twitter, we use a hashtag. The hashtag is pound Creation Wars 14 for this particular episode. And then the Twitter symbol is @MagicalArcanum. All right. So we are going to do a quick critique first, right, Ollie?
That's right. I'll just bring it up. This is the what did you rename this segment of the show, Trey?
Yes, you used to have a very boring name for it, I must say. You called it the Quick Re-Edit. We are now calling it the Creation Wars Quick 1 Hour Makeover in the Extreme. All right? Every word is capitalized. In fact, every letter of every word is capitalized. So we should just scream it. That's the name of this new segment. All right. So before we do that, should we do introductions? What is the new show format? I don't understand.
Yeah, let's do intros first.
Okay, we'll do introductions in the same order in which everyone will be competing tonight. Okay, so we will start from my left to my right, which also happens to be alphabetical order. Angela Bpan.
Am I introducing myself, or is Ollie introducing us?
Well, no, why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, well, I'm Angela. I am from the DC area, and I've been a master in the Arcanum since July and been having a lot of fun with it.
All right. And Angela comes to the Creation Wars as a 2-time champion, so she's a heavy hitter. A heavy hitter.
Yes.
All right. And she's going up against who's next alphabetically and in box order, Cliff Baise, who is also a 2-time champion. So we've got 2 heavyweights going at it. Hello, Cliff.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. It's me and Angela this time around. So, yeah, hey, my name is Cliff. I'm here in North Texas. Been a part of the Arcanum for a while, having a lot of fun with it. And you can find me on Google. Just Google my name, Cliff Baise.
You know, by the way, Cliff, we just did this huge photo walk in London. There were about a dozen people there from the Arcanum. It was unbelievable. Actually, before, yeah, you know, your guy won. He actually won the quadcopter. Yeah, I can't believe it.
So cool.
It was really cool because, like, when I gave a little talk in the beginning, you know, I jump up on a bench like Mussolini and speak to everybody. And I always ask, like, who here has heard of the Arcanum? And almost everyone raised their hand. And I said, okay, now leave your hand up if you actually got into the Arcanum. Only 12 people had their hand raised. Everyone else was kind of booing them because they actually got in. But it was really, really cool. It was a great event, yeah. Nice. Okay, next up is Glenn.
Hi, folks. Glenn Guy. I've got a wonderful cohort at the Arcanum. Great people, doing incredibly well. I've got a website, excuse me, called travelphotographyguru.com, and you'll find me there. It's a website blog, so it's pretty active. There's quite a lot of new content going on there regularly, so hope you'll pop over and have a look at it sometime.
Cool. And before I introduce the team, I want to introduce the last master competing today. It's his first time in the Creation Wars, so he's kind of a dark horse. Amazing photographer, like all the masters. So who knows what he's going to insert into the competition today? It is Stephan. Hello, Stephan.
Hello, how are you?
Great.
So, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. I will sort it out, and I will hope I get the maths right when I have to hand out points. I decided I'll give everybody 5 points, so I have no enemies afterwards. I represent our cohort, and they call themselves the Luminous Ninjas, the Warriors of Light. So, be prepared for this. Our main focus is portraiture, but as we like to call it, we're just people lovers.
All right. I like that. You're, what would you call yourself? The Light Warriors of Destiny? It sounded like a cult, whatever it was, but I liked it.
The Luminous Ninjas.
The Luminous Ninjas, that's right. Okay. I forgot, even though it was only 30 seconds. Okay. Ollie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, just as I share my screen, I'll introduce myself. Everyone knows me. Ollie, I've been the guy who's been hanging around New Zealand, so 4 of the people, including Tanya, who's working in the background on this call today, are from the Southern Hemisphere right now, so that's pretty exciting.
Excellent. Okay, good to see you, Ollie. And Stuart, introduce yourself.
Fascinating.
Can we see your shirt, Stuart? Check it out. Oh, yeah.
Yes,
very awesome. I had a great time hanging out with Stuart in London. We had a wild day together.
Yes, that's good, because I had a great time as well.
About it. Yeah. We'll save that for the after show. Nearly getting arrested, the urination situation, all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
I can't wait to see this picture.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Security
NSFW.
people were not our friend.
Yes. Okay, speaking of NSFW, let's say hi to TW.
How you going? I'm glad our Game of Thrones Sydney walk wasn't as bad. No public urination there.
Yeah, that was much more civilized. I think because of the presence of so many classy women helped keep it civilized. Yeah.
So I'm filling in for Tiff today. She's not feeling the best, so forgive me if I'm a little bit absent. But I'll be twittering up the tweet sphere.
All right. Hey, do you want to explain how the People's Choice Award works, Tanya?
Okay, so I've just posted a link to a Google form because I'm too daft to get SurveyMonkey working. When all the photos are in, the people can go to Twitter and pop in their vote for who they want the People's Choice to go to today.
Okay, and they can get the link to this form if they go to the event page on Google+, right?
Yeah. I'll pop it in there now too.
Okay, awesome, awesome. All right, well, before we get started with this quick makeover, I have a super quick Arcanum announcement. It's a very minor announcement, but it's kind of cool. So some of you guys may know about Krista Ray's scavenger hunt. Well, it's turned into this really big deal. And actually, they have this big event in Las Vegas with 250 people going to it. It's like a major thing. Anyway, so we have decided to send Ron Clifford as the champion of the Arcanum. So he's going to jump on a boat and head down there to Vegas, and he's going to jump on stage and do whatever Ron does. But anyway, he'll be representing the brave Arcanum there. So thank you very much, Ron. You go have an awesome time and take lots of pictures, and we'll get him on a future Creation Wars to get a full report. I want to see what Ron really does in Vegas. I want to see the underside, the dark underbelly of Ron Clifford. Okay, so Ollie, it's time for our extreme quick Creation Wars makeover.
Yes, let's get into this. Apologies if I drop off. I just had some trouble with my internet, but we're going to start. So Scott Norris has actually sent in a few images today because he's been really keen to join in and be part of this, the whatever you call it, re-edit, makeover, quick thing. And this is the first image he sent through, and I had to reply to him and say, look, dude, I'm really sorry, but I don't think we're going to be able to critique that because it's so damn good. That was just a personal opinion, but I really felt like he'd gone over and above and that we probably weren't going to have all that much to talk about. So he sent through another one, and this one of the two chairs. Also, I just love the simplicity of it, and I had to write back and say, dude, have you got anything that's not fantastic, because we're going to have a bit of trouble. And finally, he sent through this one, which is great. So this is the third attempt at trying to get a critique, so I'm hoping that Stu can share the link to this out very shortly so that the masters can have a good look. And then we'll get some feedback from the masters, and Scott will go away and try his best to apply that feedback within the hour, and we'll see what he's been able to do. So fire away, masters.
All right, very good. Angela, you can go first.
Sure. So my first reaction to the previous two images were that they're beautiful and really simple, and I really like that about those images. And then this one seems just a little bit different to me, just because of all the branches hanging from the corners, things like that. So I think what I would like to see from this image would just be a little bit less branches, especially on the top right-hand corner. And my first reaction when I first saw this image was the color was a little off. I'm not sure if it's the trees on the left or the snow or which part of that, but to me the color was just a little bit off as well.
Okay, next up, Cliff.
Okay, for me, with the busyness of the trees and kind of a lot going on in the upper part of the picture, I'd like to have seen the snow being like pristine in the foreground, unstepped on, unfettered there. So it just seems kind of cluttered with all the different textures going on. Yeah, I agree with Angela on it seems there's the color of the shadow underneath the bench is dirty or something like that. You'd think with the atmosphere it might be a little bluer instead of kind of the greenish yellow that I'm seeing here. So.
Very good. Okay, Glenn.
Oh, cheers, Trey. Yeah, I think at the moment, well, the second image is the best one by far. I think that I would consider making this black and white because that would resolve a lot of those problems, and it would also bring out the shapes and textures more strongly. They won't have to compete with the colour, which isn't strong to begin with. Can I just ask, Ollie, there's a lot of white spots in the sky. Is that just the video I'm looking at, or is it some zany texture you think that's been applied?
Let me have a
like
look.
just above
the texture. If you click on the link that Stuart put in our chat, and Stuart also linked that out to the event page so everyone else can click and see. It's definitely a texture they put. And the texture is over the whole thing, in fact.
Right, okay.
I think there's a painterly effect that's been applied to that part of the sky above the house, etc.
So the issue is it a good idea or not? And I'm not sure in the sky that it is. You know. So anyway, I think I'd go for the black and white option myself. I think that will really help this photo.
Very good. And then last, Stephan.
Okay, so the first thing I think is the house is falling over slightly to the left, and the lighthouse as well. It feels like it has a lean towards the left. Then everything that the others have pointed out, I think, is correct. I think the painterly look or that texture looks cool if it would be applied everywhere. If the whole picture would be or had that feeling of a painting, it would be cool. But at the moment, I feel like the background has a painterly feel and the foreground is a photograph. And I would like to make it one or the other, fish or bird.
Right, I'll give a super quick critique too, I guess. And I was watching last week, so I don't know how, Scott, you're going to deal with all this conflicting type feedback. I think it's a really cool photo, and I do like the texture in the background against that sky. I think it looks really beautiful, really weird. I think my biggest problem with it is the greenish tone that has kind of pervaded it, sort of that sickly greenish tone. I think it might look better in a cool blue tone to kind of match that background. Then if you just have cool blues and whites, I think it'll flow a lot better. That's just sort of a quick thought. But I also like what other people were saying, where I like to see smooth snow underneath. Maybe not so much texture on the snow, maybe nice smooth snow, and a little bit of texture in the sky. But it's a nice image. Very cool.
That's awesome. Okay, well, Scott's going to head off now and take as much of that advice as he feels is valid for him and apply it. For everyone else who's watching, if you want to tweet him at @snorrisphoto and try and distract him as much as possible, that'd be awesome.
And his master is A.D. Wheeler. So good job mentoring that guy, A.D.
Surprising? No way.
Yeah, you got another winner in your cohort there. He's just spitting them out like Pez, that A.D. Wheeler. Okay, let's jump right into the competition. The way it will work is we'll start with one master and then go down the line after each one does the critique. All right, so we'll start with Angela. She will now present her champion.
So today I am presenting an apprentice from our cohort, and his name is Jim Nutty. He is an American living in Munich ever since 2012. And what I really like about Jim's work, as opposed to pretty much anybody else in our cohort, is that he does a lot of interior architecture. He has such great attention to detail, and I just wanted to show you a few of his works before I actually present my entry. So like I said, he is an American living in Germany. Apparently Germany has all these really cool subway systems. So he has these colorful, vibrant subway systems that unlike anything you ever see in DC. And that's just what really caught my attention. His amazing attention to detail, his focus, his vibrancy, and all of his images. I just have never seen anything like it. And he's also a world traveler. Since he has been with us in our cohort, he's traveled to Iceland, to Bhutan, to many places. So I will show you his image from Iceland, and in his most recent travels, he has started experimenting with portraiture a little bit. So here he's got this little guy shooting a gun, and this woman walking around, but he still remains true to his interior architecture, and I just love the lines and the forms that he has in his images. So today for our entry, just showing you a few more, today for our Creation Wars, we are submitting this one. It is called Exit the Frame, and it's, I'm not sure where in Germany, but this is an image that he took in Germany, and as you can see that he has spent a lot of time not only making sure all the lines were straight, everything is perfectly balanced, but he also added that human element. He waited for a person to walk by and to kind of fill the mood of this image and really added to it. He took his time in exposing and taking the pictures, but also for post-processing. So this is my entry for today's Creation Wars by Jim Nutty.
All right, what a cool photo, Jim. That's amazeballs.
Yeah.
Okay, now time for the quick critiques. By the way, for people that are watching this for the first time, inside the Arcanum, you have regular critique sessions with your master, and they're much more extensive critiques where we kind of really get into the work and kind of psychoanalyze you, this sort of stuff. This is not that. This is just a quick hit type analysis. So go for it, Cliff.
Quick hit. Yeah, I know that this type of image is extremely hard to execute with all these parallel lines and perpendicular angles going on here. So he did an excellent job keeping everything straight and angular and symmetrical and everything else like that. You know, to me it's a little bit light. I mean, I like the geometry of the square in the middle, but to me, I think the sky could have a little bit more punch to it. And that's really the only thing that I might address within the image. Other than that, it's a winner to me.
Cool. Glenn, you're up.
Cheers, Trey. Yeah, I like the title of the image, Exit the Frame. I think that draws our attention to the frame within the frame concept, of which there are many in the picture, and of course the guy exiting, you know, this this main frame created by the doorway. I think the symmetry of the photo is really good. I think it definitely has a story both in the setting and in the notion of the guy moving through the image. The issue I have is similar to Cliff's, and that is that I think the image is too grey, actually. There's not enough separation in the tones. If you looked at the histogram, you'd find most of it would be sort of middle to right. I think the sky definitely needs to be darker, and we need to separate what was the blue sky from the clouds a lot more. So I think the clouds are too light, and I think the greys are too light as well. So I think it's a contrast issue that the image lacks. I think it'd be a lot stronger if it was reworked. But it is a very nice image. And it might also be good to put a bit of split toning into it, very subtly, to introduce colour into the image. Not so much for colour, but for mood. You know, you could further separate the photo by making the highlights slightly warm and the shadows slightly cold, and that would add the more three-dimensional space in the picture that's already there. But look, I like it. I think it's a good image.
Very good. Okay, and last, Stephan.
Okay, so far it's the best image we've seen so far in this competition by far. As everybody knows, I'm an absolute specialist for these kind of images because I never ever shoot them. So I'm just in awe. I just look at it and love it. There's nothing I can complain about. There's nothing I could contribute. The only thing that's purely taste is I would like to create a little bit of separation. Either the guy in front is the star and then blur out the background just a tiny bit to create a little bit more of a feeling of depth. But everything else that you guys said, I will note that down if I ever come to a situation like that, and I will copy exactly what you said.
You'll do very well.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Angela. Okay, next up is Cliff.
Okay. Right. Okay, so the person I'm bringing to the competition tonight is our wonderful community manager, Chantel Rich, and she is here in my hometown of Arlington, Texas. She's a wife, mother, a photographer, and a glass artist. And before photography, she suffered. I mean, she endured. I mean, she was a 19-year IT person, so she's obviously a sucker, a glutton for punishment. So let's see. She does all types of photography, and she likes landscapes and different things. This image actually won first place in the Arlington Museum of Art Image as Art competition a little bit ago. So she's active in the community and in the art community and getting her stuff out there and seen. And actually, that's one of her recent goals is to explore more gallery type things and competitions and stuff like that. So she has a great imagination, and she uses her photography and Photoshop skills to bring these ideas and dreams to reality. So the image I'm going to bring today is this one right here. And Chantel's a big fan of Brooke Shaden and Miss Nelia, Alexis Sinclair, and the type of artists like that who create these kind of dreamy images. And she created this one for her self-portrait project that she's been working on. And so yeah, she's just this is one of her composites that she created out of several different images.
Wow, that's so cool. You know, I'm constantly amazed. I think it's really neat how women embrace photography. They come up with these whole new genres that, you know, guys would never go on a field and take a photo. But Stephan might. But you know, this is yeah, this is just kind of this wonderful new category. I'm not sure it feels like a really mature category, but really it's you know, Miss Daniela and Rebecca and a few other people that have just kind of got this thing going. But it's just the beginning, so it's always cool to see what people make next. Okay, Angela, go.
Yes, I think this is a really cool image. I would have never known it was a composite unless you had said something. I probably would have guessed that she would just put it on a self-timer and just jumped in front of the camera. The thing that kind of distracted me a little bit when it first came up was that her face is just right where the cloud is, and I think if I were to do this picture, I would want it have her body more to the right side, so it's kind of not just directly behind her. There's just so much space all around that I wish I just filled the frame a little bit more. I think it's nice that it's in black and white. Yeah, I think kind of what Glenn said about Jim's image, that I think maybe just like a hint of color would be nice too, just because it's a feminine portrait with flowers and a beautiful field. Yeah, that's what I have to say.
Cool. Okay, Glenn. Oh, sorry, that's yours. Yeah, no, it is. It's not yours. Sorry, go, Glenn. You're both black and white. I was thrown off.
Maybe it's the dress. Yeah, I think I love it. I love the photo. It's amazing the similarity between the field, the flowers in the field, and the dress. You know, and that's come into the picture because the colour's been removed. So we've got, you know, white against a dark background in the landscape, and we've got the same in the dress. So they connect very well to each other. The shape of the dress is really lovely too, you know, from a compositional point of view. And I'm okay with the face against the cloud because there's light on the face and she's against a darker cloud. So I think for me that's okay. I think if anything, what I'd be doing is cropping the image because I think it'll be more positive if she's looking into space. At the moment, she's kind of, the space is behind her. And it's always more positive if folks are looking into space. So other than that, I think it's a glorious photograph. No criticism from me on this one, my friends.
Cool. Stephan.
Okay. First of all, I think it's an awesome picture, and I think it's awesome when people, you know, dabble into this and work on composites. I think the cutout and everything, technically, it's really well done, which usually is a telltale sign of composites if the cutout is bad. But I think someone has really worked this image, so this is awesome. Where for me, composites fall apart is when the shadows are not right. And when I look at the way the cloud is and her face, I think that matches perfectly. What I miss is if she has such strong shadows on the side of her body, why are there no shadows in the grass in front of her? Obviously, the sun is quite high. Looking at how the light falls, I would expect some shadows in front of her, which then would elevate her even more and really show that she is in the air and she is jumping. So that's one thing. The other thing is, when I look at the perspective where she is shot, I would expect the camera to shoot the camera that was shot in the back for the background plate to be lower as well, just to really match the perspective. Other than that, love it.
Awesome possum. Good comments as always. Next up for bid is Glenn Guy. Glenn, show us your work.
Oh, okay. There we go. Now, I've got, this is interesting because I've got a, I think, can you see me now?
We see two small thumbnails.
Yeah. Great, thank you. So I've got a new member to my cohort, and I actually haven't spoken with Vesa yet. So I'm not sure how to pronounce the name, but Vesa Loikas will have to do, Loikas. Vesa is from southern Finland, and he's actually come over after a little bit of a wait, moving from Valerie Jardon's cohort into mine. Valerie's gone off to do some other things, so he came in at level 6, so I actually haven't had a critique session with him yet. But he's only been with us for about a week, and I had, this is just one of his images. He's also got a spectacular website. Oh, hang on, stop the bus.
Love it.
Yeah, yeah. Here we go. Yeah, look at that, it's beautiful. So he does a lot of really interesting stuff. He's an architect, and he's got a really
Whoa.
Yeah, fantastic eye. By the way, his texture that works. See, it's in the background. And anyway, he's got a really interesting eye, and he does lots of different stuff. He's very interested in dance, and he travels around the world to photograph street dance, if you like, in various parts of the world. So VESALOIKAS.com. And for instance, if I go over to gallery, you can see, look at this, Paris in 48 Hours, his Turku collection, where he's from in southern Finland. And here's some dance, New York. So, you know, traveling around the world, photographing dance, and look at that, different parts of the world. So I'd encourage people to have a look, because it looks very, very interesting. Great Eye is very good technically, and the work is somewhat conceptual as well. So there's plenty for everyone to look at here, I think. And some of the images very film, as in looks like it's shot with film, you know, actually. So I think you'll enjoy it. So what I have today for you is a fascinating image. I posted a little, I have a weekly challenge in the cohort, and the most recent one was on the notion of duality, you know, opposites in pictures. And so he's come along with this one, and, you know, I think it's pretty amazing. I'd let you folks talk about what you like about it and otherwise, but I think it's very cleverly done, and he talks about wandering along in the cold and being drawn by the red lips, and then putting himself into the image, if you like, to bring warmth to himself emotionally. And it's a lovely contrast with the cool background colours, you know, from the snow and the blue sky on the snow reflecting. But yeah, I think it's a really interesting conceptual photograph. This stuff goes back to like the 20s, almost 100 years ago in Paris, this sort of street photography. A guy called Adjet, which is really worth looking at, A-T-G-E-T. But anyway, I'd be really interested to see how you folks respond. Yeah, I think it's very interesting. It's got a magazine kind of look to it too, which I like. So over to you folks.
Hey Glenn, could you say what the challenge was one more time?
Duality.
Duality.
Yeah, so opposites, you know, warm, cool, masculine, feminine, there's 100 of them, yeah.
Yeah, very nice. I think this interprets your challenge really well. I love how his head is placed right where the lips are, and it kind of looks like his body is her body, but it's not. It's obviously a reflection in a window, and I think this is really cool. It kind of, the texture or the noise on it makes it look like it was shot with film, and I really like that as well, especially when you referenced French street photographers. The only thing that I have to say is that the writing on the top is cut off. I'd just get rid of it all. Just completely get rid of that, and maybe some blotches that are on the left-hand side, but other than that, I don't really have anything else to say. I think this is a really interesting artistic image.
Thank you.
Okay, go for it, Cliff.
Well, I like how you said screw the type and cut right through it, and used it as kind of where he eliminated the type aspect of it and used it as more of a design element. I love the pose that he's got, where he's kind of got all his weight on his back foot and the way his hands out kind of to the side like that. It just has a lot of eye flow and kind of I don't know, a really nice movement to it there for me. Also, you know, like it was said before, the graininess, and it has a really juxtaposed magazine feel to it. I like it a lot.
Great.
Very cool. And next is Stephan.
Yeah, I can only repeat what everybody else said. I think it's graphically a very interesting image. I like the colors and everything. If the female face would be a model or a person he knows, and that would be the reflection, I would quit this chat because I wouldn't have no chance to win. However, since I feel like it's a mixture of images that other people have created, I have mixed feelings about that. It's like taking a picture of a statue. Who should be the winner, the guy that takes the picture or the guy that created the statue? So I always have mixed feelings about photographing art from other photographers, but as a graphical composition of all and fulfilling the challenge, I think it's a very, very strong image, and I really like it.
Excellent. Good critiques, everybody. Okay, Stephan.
Oh,
now we
Trey,
can see you.
Trey, sorry, do you want to add just a couple of quick words? Because this feedback's been great. I think Lycos really appreciate it. A couple of quick words maybe from you?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I think it's a pretty clever image. I don't really feel like I'm super well equipped to critique stuff like this. You know, it seems a little maybe easy. I guess it's nice to see that. I mean, I give him credit for seeing that. But I think actually, and I don't know how long he's been taking photos, but I think once you're a photographer for a while, you see this kind of stuff a lot, you know, just walking around city streets. And so in some ways, it's not that hard of a photo. And I'm not even that much of a street photographer, but as I walk around, I think it's not too hard to get a few photos like that a day. And I think that people that are used to street photography can get those kind of photos not without too much difficulty. But I'm glad that he's found this style of photography and he likes it. It's kind of fun to play with it. I would call this kind of more of a study or an experiment rather than like a fine work of art. But as far as like a study goes and in answering your challenge, I think it's very good.
Okay, cheers. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Stephan.
So, can you see my image?
Yes.
All right. So, as I said, I'm the first time on the Creation Wars, and so I want to show a little bit throughout the cohort what we've done so far. I have to say, I never expected these guys to be so good, and not just so good in terms of photography, but also the way they communicate with each other and the way they help each other. I'm blown away by their effort and by their work ethics, and of course their amazing images. And I just want to show a few images throughout. This is an image by Jason. This is an image produced by Daniela. This is an image by Angelica. So just amazing images. This is an image by Michael. So just 4 quick views into what these guys can do. So to really see what they really can do, I have to throw challenges at them, which I would struggle with, to be honest. One of the challenges I've thrown at them was to pick an original painting by one of the old masters and recreate it, and shebang, look at this. This is Jose taking on Salvador Dali.
Wow.
I would have had serious trouble in Photoshop to create this. Now look at this. This is Vermeer's girl with the pearl earrings that Pete and his wife have created. They spent days and days and days perfecting this. I'm blown away with this. So what does that mean for me? I have to up the ante even more. So the next challenge for level 6, I said, okay, well then you guys, if you're that good, you create an entire magazine story. I want you to create a cover. I'll give you a template. You have to make your photo work. I'll give you a double-side spread. You have to create a double-side spread with enough negative space for a magazine to put text on. And I want you to create 4 square images that really tell your story. The theme is the board game. Go. And this is one of the results.
Wow.
Just to show you the commitment these guys put into. This is not Photoshop. This is a real burning Monopoly board. Okay. So now we're getting closer to the image that I want to share. This is a story coming from Jose Cabello from Venezuela. He took not only the challenge and the theme for this challenge, the board game, on board, but he also played with our cohort's name, the Ninjas. So he said, okay, well, how about you go into a board game with ninja powers? But that would be too easy. So how about we have a baby ninja? Okay? Well, the baby ninja has a problem, all right? His bigger brother always wins. He's stronger, he's taller, he always wins. He knows how to play the game. And by the way, if you wonder, to make it really authentic, this is Japanese chess. So, well, the big brother is winning, and the little brother really doesn't quite know what to do until he gets the magic stone. He gets the king. Now he can use this, and for the first time, he can actually win. Ninja powers, baby ninjas, whatever. So this is the image I want you to consider. If you want to go in and pixel peep, you will find some film grain, yes, and maybe the image could be a little bit sharper. The question you have to ask yourself, though, is why do we take photographs? Do we want to please the pixel police, or do we want to tell stories? Now, this image for me shows gameplay, emotion. It shows that changing moment in the game, and maybe in the relationship between these two. It has that depth that I like, and it has feeling. The entire series that he produced shows that he really has the ability to work with children, motivate them to give that awesome expression and really go for it. And at the end of the day, that image really makes me smile. So the challenge was even harder, creating a square crop. But hey, if you throw a ninja, baby ninja on top that wins the game against a stronger brother, I rest my case.
Sorry, I was muted there. Okay, awesome stuff. I mean, I can't believe the talent that's in the Arcanum, much less in your cohort, Stephan. It's just the most humbling thing ever. It's just great, and I think that they're lucky to have someone like you to guide them along, give them those challenges. It's fantastic. Okay, Angela, critique that.
You're right, Stephan. As soon as I saw this image, I started smiling. It is so fun and playful to look at. But to be honest, I did like some of the previous images that you were showing just a little bit better. I think that this, if I didn't have the background story of the challenge and all the things that you were doing, I'd be a little confused by it, not really know what was going on. So it was nice that you had the story there, and I was smiling the whole time you were explaining it. But other than that, not really sure. I do think that the hand reflection in the table is really cool, and for some reason my eyes keep on going to that. But I smile when I look at it. So
cool. So I like it a lot too. Stephan, you sound like a great master. I'd like to have. Sounds like it'd be awesome to be in your cohort.
Thank you.
Yeah, you make me laugh. I mean, you're right on top of your game, so you're pretty awesome. Yeah, as far as the image goes, though, I like it a lot. It has a nice flow to it, and shape, kind of composition-wise goes. A lot of the things that Angela said were right. As far as the story goes, it needs to have that context for the viewer to know what's going on with this particular image. It seems to me that the kid's shirt is a little distracting with the type that's on it. I think that it could have been a more powerful image and focused more on the subject had that not been the case. But other than that, I like the depth of field, and the focus is good. The story is wonderful, but yeah.
Sorry, I was muted. And now, Glenn, your turn.
Thanks, Trey. Well, you know, firstly, I want to echo what Angela said. I agree completely. I think, you know, Stephan, you're doing some amazing stuff, obviously, and I love the passion that you're bringing to this Creation Wars. It clearly represented in your cohort, and you're really enthusing them with passion. So you've got talented people, and they've chosen. I mean, they're in with the right master, the master that's right for them. I think that's a really important point. Yeah, I was really amazed by the earlier work, and I think as an individual image, as Angela said, some of those others would have done better in this environment today. So this is really, it's really more of a photojournalistic image. It's what we'd call a, you know, it's one image out of a photo essay, if you like. And it does work on its own, but it doesn't engage me in the same way. It doesn't have that the beauty, the aesthetic that some of the earlier images have. And I don't warm to most commercial work. I'm not a commercial photographer, and it's just because it doesn't do it for me. It doesn't move me. But where there is a story, I am engaged a little bit more. But ultimately, it's sort of the aesthetics of photography that I'm interested in, and sort of more of a spiritual connection. So it's a little bit hard for me to connect to an image like this. So that's, you know, it's subjective. But I love what you're doing. This is a successful image, but I think some of the earlier ones as individual images, I would have been much more enthusiastic about.
Thank you.
Very cool. Thank you guys for the critiques. Okay, now we'll go in reverse order. Everyone will give one last little 15-second reminder of their image. So if all the masters could share their images right now and screen share. And one little last pitch to try to get votes, because now comes the part where all the masters vote on their favorite image. The way it works, by the way, is they get 5 votes. They can send no more than 3 votes to any one work, and they cannot vote for their own work. All right. So going in reverse order, Stephan.
All right. Thank you very much for all the feedback that you've given. I think you're all spot on now. I don't want to say anything about this picture anymore. I think we covered this. I could have picked a lot of winning photographs out of my cohort. I'm completely aware of that. You have to understand that my goal today is not to come into the creation wars and win. The ultimate goal is world domination, and that takes a little bit of time. The very first image Jose has uploaded into level 4 into our cohort was a portrait of himself screaming on top of his lungs, desperately looking for inspiration. He joined us feeling completely stuck. He felt that he will never get there. The change that I've seen in him in the last 6 weeks is incredible, and that is a reflection of the amazing community we have. And that is why I gave him the go for this photo as a representation of our work. That is why we're here, and I came in here with a pretty strong feeling that with this image I probably don't win, but I win with these apprentices. And I wanted to prove to them that it's not about competing against others, but against competing against ourselves, if that makes any sense. And I've decided to pick this image for exactly that reason. So next time, be aware, I will come with a screamer.
All right, Stephan, that was a long 15 seconds. Over. Because of him, none of you guys can defend your images anymore. So take that into consideration when you vote. No, I'm just kidding. Glenn, you're up next.
Cheers, thanks, Trey. Yes, well, I think I really love this photo. Actually, you know, these shots are not as easy to make as we might think. There's some technical issues about the lighting inside versus the lighting outside, you know, dynamic range, that would make most shots like this fail. So Veska has understood the conditions under which he could make the shot work and was able to make it happen. But I think it's very creative. I think it's fun. I think it's that notion of duality is very strong in the image. I pick up on what Cliff said about the beautiful line of the body. It's a very feminine line, in fact. It's been introduced to the male body. And I hope you folks enjoy it. I hope it will inspire you to have a bit of fun and experiment in this and many other ways when you're out and about with your camera, even if it's a humble phone camera. So thanks to all the folks for the great feedback you've given. The main thing is that you know, Vesa will have enjoyed that feedback and hopefully learned from it. So thanks to everyone for that.
Very cool. Good one, Glenn. And Cliff, your turn.
Okay, yeah, I just want to first say I think Chantal is going to really appreciate everything that everyone said here about her image, that, you know, she's kind of a shy lady and sometimes not sure, and I think that hearing some of these is really going to be a positive encouragement for her. So with that being said, just these composites that we're working on, I think that these are what about Creation Wars is kind of about, is creating images that don't really exist before and just kind of show your skills and execution as an artist. So there you go.
Great. And last, Angela.
So this is my image from Jim Nutty, and I personally think that this should be the winner just because it took a lot of time and patience in shooting, but also in post-processing to make sure everything was lined up correctly. He has great attention to detail. And as far as making the skies a little bit darker, I definitely think that this is his personal choice. I think that the skies have it lighter so that all the lines that are in the foreground come out more and become more present, and to be really about the frame and exiting the frame. So This is my image from Genetti.
All right, very cool. All right, so now Ollie, how does this work? All the masters have to use some kind of a form, right, to fill in their votes. Is that correct?
That's right. There's a little link in our chat that we have here for the Hangout. The very last post, a little shortened Google link. If the masters could follow that. Instructions are inside, but really, if you can't count to 3, then you're pretty much fired. So come Monday.
Very cool. Hey,
I have to say that.
Go ahead.
I can't pick the winner this week.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I don't know who's be the winner either. It's interesting that there were so many black and white images submitted this week. It's nice to see things. You never know what you're going to get. Every week is totally different. These masters are actually under tremendous pressure to pick the right kind of it. They've got many vectors, right? It's always generally a losing proposition to come on the show, frankly, because you just get lots of people that get upset with you. You get the other masters who get upset with you. You get everyone in your cohort a little upset with you if you didn't represent them well. If you didn't choose the right person's image, those other people might be a little bit upset. So it's really, these masters are under a tremendous amount of pressure. So we should just love them. Just let them know that we appreciate them trying so hard, because it might look like fun and games, but there are a lot of tears wrought at the expense of this show.
Nice way to put them off counting to 3, Trey. Just slam them from every side. Hey, if everyone can just remember, for those watching, to go along and vote for the People's Choice. There's a link in the event page for that. And this is your last chance before we find out who the Masters voted for, and then we'll let you know who the public voted for. And usually it's different. Sometimes it's the same.
Ollie, have we heard anything from Mr. Norris, who is in the middle of his extreme hour-long makeover?
Yes, we have had that come in, which we'll go to after the People's Choice, but I sent Stuart the link in the chat, so hopefully he's got that ready to go.
Good, I can't wait to see that. How's the voting coming, Team Awesome? Has everyone got their votes in?
Yeah, I have. Hey, while we're waiting, Trey, can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
That little device you're holding, does that have any purpose that we're able to talk about in this, this hangout?
Are you asking me if it's some sort of S&M device?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm asking you. Yes.
50 Shades of back scratching.
Yeah. No, it's 50 Shades of Trey. So, well, in essence, a true aficionado, Glenn, would know that pretty much anything can be used as an S&M device. This is actually a back scratcher. It reminds me, there's that, that scene from, I think it was this Indiana Jones, the first one, when that Nazi general, Indiana Jones is in that tent, right, in the Nazi tent, and then the mean general comes in with the glasses and stuff, and he asks his henchman for a device, and he just slams this device down, and then he hits it into his hand, and he slowly unfurls. You think, oh, are they nunchucks or whatever? And it was just like a little thing to hang up his coat. I heard I think it was George Lucas was talking about that. It's like a technique he came up with that at some point. He tried to put it into every single movie, but it didn't make sense until Indiana Jones. That's when he put it in. Yeah. All right.
I was just wondering, Trey, before I announce who the winner is, would you be able to potentially let me know who your favorite was?
Yes, I will tell you my favorite. I enjoyed looking at them all. I should say that, of course. In fact, what I also really like is these, when you get to see a lot of different people's work. Really fantastic. In fact, the one that impressed me the most was not one that was up for bid tonight. Stephan had many good images that he showed, but that one that they had converted the face into the Salvador Dali-esque type situation, I thought that was unbelievable. Because a mind that can do that is a mind I cannot fathom. So I find that very interesting. But of the images that were finally submitted, I think I like Cliff's image the best. That was very well done. I have a few little critical things to say about it. I mean, otherwise it's a great image, but I thought like the tree line was a little extra sharp on the horizon, which gave it that sort of composited look. It should be a little bit it's okay in the distance if everything is a little bit softer. Everything was so ultra sharp in that, you could cut your eyes anywhere. But I think it should have gradations of sharpness, especially as it goes into the distance. That's a minor complaint, but otherwise I just thought it was an amazing shot. It's my favorite of the night. There you go, Ali. Are you going to give us the official winner now?
I think what we should do first is cut to Tanya, who's going to give us the People's Choice.
Ah, okay. Well, Tanya, you might be muted. Over. We can't hear your
Sorry.
Aussie accent.
I lost
like a babbling brook.
Sorry, my awesome accent.
Aussie accent. Awesome Aussie accent.
Awesome, yeah. So today's People's Choice is a huge landslide to Angela B. Pan's Apprentice.
Whoa, a landslide.
Huge landslide. There was only 3 other votes going other ways.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Wow, so that's the People's Choice. I do have to say, though, it was quite tight. In fact, in the after show, I'm going to do a screen share just to show everyone how tight the judging was. But the winner this week is, in fact, Mr. Cliff. Baby.
Yeah.
Well done,
Yay, Cliff. 3-time winner. Unbelievable.
Nice work, Cliff.
Thank you. Way to go, Chantal.
I would recommend anyone who's watching the show should hang around till afterwards to see the screen share I'm going to share. But I'm just going to leave that for now. So, Stu, do you have at the ready the Extreme Makeover Trey Ratcliff style?
Yes, I can bring that up if you just give me one moment.
So the best thing about this new title, Ollie, is that all the adjectives are completely interchangeable in any order. You can call it the Extreme Hour Makeover Creation Wars Hour of Extremity. You can also repeat things. You could put things in adverb form. However you want to, it always works.
Actually, you mentioned something at the beginning of the show that I think we need to address, is that yourself, as the creator of the Arcanum, you haven't come up with the collective noun that describes the group of masters, and I think that needs to be done sooner rather than later.
I say we call it. I was going to say we call it a clique of masters.
Oh, a clique of masters.
A clique.
Yeah. A shudder of masters.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
Yeah. Like a
I
shudder.
think we deserve at least a double click.
Yes, that's it. Oh, we have the image here. It looks like Stuart has served it up to us.
Shall I share my screen? Is that the best way to do this?
Yeah, you can put it up and share your screen, and then actually, if you could do a before and after, swap back and forth. Because now that I'm looking at the new one, I'd kind of like to see the before.
Okay. Let's see if I can do this.
And Stuart, if you could link both the before and after for the masters to look at.
Will do.
I'm happy with the new snow.
Yeah, the new snow is looking cleaner and better, I think.
Was there texture on the house in the before?
I don't know.
I will find
We'll have to see.
I think this is the before. Is that the before?
Stuart is about to paste it. It's getting exciting. Getting exciting now. Everyone in our chat. There we go. Now we can look at the before and after. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Change is the essential process of all existence.
Another good Spock quote. Full Spock mode. Yeah, so it looks like I hope my opinion wasn't too overbearing, but I do like the bluer trees now, much better than the greener trees. I like that cool feeling.
It leans over even more now towards the left. There must have been lost in translation talking to or listening to a Swiss guy, but now it's actually tilting even more to the house is falling over even more.
You're right. It definitely is. It's tilting to the left a little bit for sure. The lighthouse looks pretty much straight up and down though. It may be leaning a little left.
If you switch back and forth.
The blue version is the after, and the original with the yellowy, greeny wash through it is the before.
Actually, one thing to notice, is, and sometimes I do this with my images. If you guys are looking at it big, you may not see it, but if you shrink up your window really small, you can see there's like a bright white splotch around the bench, and then there's sort of just a grayness around it. So it looks like there's definitely some masking done, which is fine. I'm all for masking. But when the image is really small, you can definitely see where that masking was done. So that's a thing to watch out for, I think.
But overall, we have to say it's an improvement.
It is an improvement.
I love the new color tone. It's much better.
Yeah.
It was a successful Extreme Creation Wars hour-long makeover of Extremity within 1 hour.
Written in capitals.
I still think the white and black dots in the sky are problematic. The texture doesn't bother me, but and in some cases it's nice, but the big blotches I think are a bit of an eyesore. And I'd still love to see it in black and white, may I say.
It would look good in black and white. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you are right. Okay, everybody. Well, thank you, amazing masters. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Ollie, Tanya, and Stuart. Thanks to the entire team at the Arcanum. Another successful Creation Wars will now come to a close. We can end by all giving a round of applause to Mr. Cliff Baise for his 3rd win on the Creation Wars. Hey, Cliff.
Beauty, Cliff.
All right, bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.